X-Jet, anybody do X-Jet? You ever heard of X-Jet? Well, you got two things. You got a downstream injector, and then you have an X-Jet. And if you get on these forums and read, if you just type in X-Jet or downstream versus X-Jet, and you'll see nothing but arguments about what's better. Well, we're going to answer that question today. A downstream injector costs you as little as $15, $20. And all it does is hooks up to your pressure line and allows you to pull a vacuum and pull chemical. Right? Everybody uses that, right? So very easy to work with. It'll work with about 200 feet of hose with no problem, and depending on your setup, you can get 300 or 400 feet. Very durable, easy to repair, simple. It does have a learning curve. There's probably 5 or 6 things that affect downstreaming, and once you understand those things, it's the easiest thing in the world. And we'll talk about those when we get in, talk about in the trailer in a minute. X-jetting, very simple. All an X-jet is a downstreamer, but it's at your gun. And what it allows you to do is pull a much stronger mix than you can downstream it. And depending on your size of machine, you could probably clean a roof with a X-jet. If you had a 4-gallon minute machine, and I would think you could clean a slightly dirty roof. Now, a really bad roof, you're probably not going to. Is it going to be as efficient as a 12-volt or a gas roof pump or whatever? No, but it could be done. So the X-Jet costs about $175. It'll give you a stronger mix all the way up, depending on your size machine, all the way up to 4 to 5%, maybe even 6% in some cases. It also comes with different nozzles you can interchange to change your draw rate, and it's not as easy as downstreaming, because downstreaming you leave everything on the trailer. You pull one hose out and you go. Here you pull your pressure hose out, you put this at your gun, and you can spray. And you see you got about a 5 or 7 gallon bucket. You're going to run out before too long. Then you got to go back and fill your bucket. And this, you have a short 15 foot hose. So now you got to keep moving your bucket all the way around the house. When I started, I used X-Jet. I liked them, but I didn't like toting the bucket, so I went ahead and just got me 4 buckets and put one on each corner of the house. And when I got to there, I was basically empty, and I just changed. I had a quick connect. I just changed it. It's still a lot of work, but you can get a stronger mix if you only downstream and you don't have another dedicated pump for soft washing. This is a good tool to have, especially if you're doing some stucco or drive it, and it's only on part of the house or the north or northeast sides of the house that are really bad. You can do this and downstream. You can do both. So it's good to have. It's a good tool to have when you can't downstream it, when you can't get a strong enough mix. Now, if you have a dedicated pump, gas roof pump, air pump, 12-volt pump, it doesn't come into near as much play, but it's even easier to me to have a bucket and just go do part of it with this and pulling out a 12-volt hose, washing, and then rolling it all back up, when you can have this and go and back. So what? Yeah, and I was going to say, what I did, I changed mine to 75 feet, because it'll still pull good chemical at 75 feet, so you're able to cover a 150-foot section, which on small houses, that's half a house. And so that does make it easier to do that. And then if you would put the right tip in where you can still get a strong mix, you wouldn't run out of bucket so quick, because that bucket will empty in no time when you're spraying. Any questions on the X-Jet? You look like you want one, but you're not asking. Which one's better? It depends on your job. They're both good. They're both downstream injectors. They both have a place in our industry. This one even has another place if you're doing, say, a five-story building. As you go up downstreaming, you lose draw the higher you go. It's just the way it works. You can take a bucket up with you on a lift, and you can spray the high stuff with this, and then just downstream all the rest of the stuff. So it's got a place. It's good. And in fact, anybody starting out today that doesn't have the money to have a dedicated, gas roof pump or whatever, and a pressure washer, and you had to pick and choose, I would get a pressure washer, and I would sell them one of these, because they can do anything just about that you can with it. You're going to be slower in most cases, but you can still do it. And actually that's important. It's a good tool. I've got one. I've used it about 3 times in 15 years. This is it.
For information on this topic, please join me at my free 2-day training event November 9th and 10th in Sandestin, Florida. You can register on my website, click the banner halfway down the main page. And if you need any other information, please feel free to reach out to us. Stay humble and hustle hard, my friends.